Hello everyone, my name is Ramsey Martinez and today I'll be giving a persuasive speech on the legalization of marijuana. And first I wanted to introduce my audience. First I have
Nick.
and then Peter.
Well,
Alrighty, well, nice to meet you guys here. We're going to go right into it. And let's be honest, we're going to talk about marijuana. The first thing you think of is stereotypes. So what I think of is marijuana is smuggling over the border from the Mexican cartel, maybe even laced. And the only effect coming from the marijuana is to be lazy all day and sleep and not do anything. While this is a very misinformed statement and inaccurate, historically the government has used marijuana as a ploy to target colored communities when it's actually 7.5 to 8 times more likely for a black person to be arrested for marijuana than whites. Scientifically, marijuana has various medical benefits when it comes to severe diseases such as AIDS and cancer. I want to persuade you today to be in favor of medical marijuana legalization. First, Americans have had much grief over marijuana in the past, and the reality of the plant is that it's beneficial both medically and economically. So look at the PowerPoint. Alright, about 81% of adults believe that marijuana has at least one positive benefit in mind. The other 17% believe that marijuana has no benefit at all. The most common benefit that people believe of marijuana is pain management, followed by treatment of diseases such as epilepsy and multiple sclerosis. On the other hand, it is also reported that 91% of US adults believe that marijuana has at least one risk involved. At the top of that list, the top would be that the most risks involved would be legal problems, getting in trouble with the law. No one wants to get arrested with marijuana and have a charge forever. Followed by addiction, which is about 50% of people, and then lastly, impaired memory. If we go back and look at the opioid crisis the United States has had, it has killed nearly 841,000 people due to drug overdose. Studies today indicate that people using opiates are at an all-time high, and nearly 71,000 overdoses have occurred in 2019, and over 70% of those overdoses were due to opioids. As of January 1st, 2016, 21 states have decriminalized marijuana. There is also 26 states that have legalized medical marijuana, and then also 16 states that have adopted CBD or cannabidiol, which is the non-psychoactive form of marijuana. Fortunately, there are states in the US that are legal marijuana states to show us, kind of pave the way, and show us the pros and cons of the plant. First, we're going to take a look at Colorado. The bill was passed on November 6, 2012 for medical marijuana, actually recreational marijuana, to be put in play. This took 2 years to get to the year 2014, and Colorado was the first state to become recreationally legal. With no state models or guidance to follow, public health officials were seeking lessons from medical marijuana states to prepare for public health implications of more widely available legal marijuana. Basically, they didn't know what to do once it was legal. They had to look at other states for guidance for laws and limits and stuff like that. Another limit that we're going to look at is Colorado passed a legislation setting a limit of 5 milligrams of Delta-9 THC per milliliter of blood at which a driver is impaired. So this is basically looking at like BAC for alcohol. It goes the same way for drinking and driving. They also want to make sure you're not impaired under THC. Then we're going to look at California, another state that is also recreational and medically legal. They did a cross-sectional study with data and analysis from February 1st to November 30th in 2019. They measured the adoption of potential demand reduction and youth protection practices, including restriction on sales, products, marketing, warning labels, and things like that. Basically, just like cigarettes have, saying like this contains THC, if you're underage, you're not allowed to consume them, there and therefore, and taxation. Moving in the right direction for marijuana laws is crucial, and having legal states help us figure out what regulations work and which don't is key to legalization federally. We can visualize the benefits of marijuana by contrasting life choices we have. There's one thing we could do is we could ignore the issue and continue to let the government use marijuana as leverage in the judicial system. If we look at statistics, states waste $3 trillion enforcing marijuana laws every year. Or we can choose to accept marijuana and its benefits and help create tax money and to fund more research to find more about the plant. As of May 2021, states report a combined total of $7.9 billion tax dollars of revenue that can be helped used for schools and other funding of sorts. The U.S. would save $7.7 billion annually if marijuana was federally legalized, and that's a statistic from Edwards. In closing, we all have many different opinions about marijuana and the legalization and decriminalization of the plant. Do the research benefits outweigh the negatives of the judicial system and how the legalization of the marijuana will help eliminate the black market system? This is because it will make it safer for the Americans to consume marijuana, no longer being on the black market because it's lab tested and regulated. And why should we be fighting against a plant that naturally grows from the earth anyways and criminalizing it? Thank you guys. I'm gonna show you my PowerPoint.
Is it really fully illegal in Tennessee?
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking crazy.